It's 2 in the morning. The room is dark, and your phone is the brightest thing in it. You told yourself you weren't going to look, but here you are, scrolling, comparing, hurting. Somewhere in that quiet corner of your mind, the part you never speak aloud, you want them to feel it, what they did to you, the weight of it. You want it to land on them the way it landed on you. You aren't alone in those thoughts. And some things are waiting for exactly the kind of hurt that makes you stop thinking clearly. Every culture I know of has a version of the same warning, things that shouldn't be done. Confucius is often credited with saying, "Before you embark on a journey of revenge, dig 2 graves." It sounds like something you'd find stitched on a throw pillow, until you actually sit with it. He wasn't saying revenge would fail. He was saying it would succeed, and take you with it. Have you ever read something online that felt wrong? Not scary, not creepy, wrong. Like the person typing it knew something terrible was already standing just outside the frame. Tonight's story starts with one of those posts. A young woman named Kat uploaded a video from her bathroom, 2:13 in the morning. Nothing unusual at first. A nervous smile, a single candle, a mirror, and one sentence that would haunt every single person who ever watched it. "If this works, I'll prove they're all lying." Then she laughed. 3 days later, she was dead. And what happened in between became one of the darkest legends the internet ever swallowed whole. Kat Restin, born November 29th, 2000, Virginia Beach. The people who actually knew her described her as a bright spirit who inspired others. That's the obituary. That's what her family chose to put into the world. She died unexpectedly on April 19th, 2020, 19 years old. Everything I just told you, that's the public record. Everything after this belongs to a different kind of truth. The kind that travels mouth to mouth, comment to comment, screenshot to screenshot. The kind that doesn't need to be verified to be believed, because it feels true to everyone who reads it. Online, she built her following exploring occult forums, urban legends, forbidden rituals. Most of it was harmless. Candles, tarot cards, ghost stories, the usual late-night rabbit holes. Then one night, she found something buried deep in a forgotten message board. The thread title was simple: "Do not call what you do not understand." Caitlin was a self-proclaimed Wiccan, a woman who loved her practice, defended it publicly, and wasn't afraid of anything the internet could throw at her. Kat was loud about who she was, proud of it, not interested in your opinion about it. And for a while, it was exactly that, a practice. Some accounts say she found her way into spiritual Facebook groups where people practice, discuss, and sometimes, if you look long enough, offer to help you work on someone who hurt you. Kat decided she wanted to put a hex on her ex-girlfriend. Kat had recently been through a bad breakup, and she didn't want to move on. She wanted to do something about it. Using a poppet, what most people call a voodoo doll. Now here's the first thing worth knowing. Kat was Wiccan. Voodoo is a completely different tradition with its own rules, its own spirits, and its own consequences. But Kat didn't know what she didn't know, so she went online and asked. The internet had opinions. Some people encouraged her. Others, including people who actually knew these traditions, tried to warn her. They told her a poppet used with voodoo intent wasn't a game, that working with these energies without proper understanding, without protocol, without permission, could open something she wasn't ready for. Kat was the kind of person who never believed warnings. The more someone told her don't, the more she needed to find out why. Kat responded, and I'll let her say it in her own words.
Let people live and have their own religion. If someone is into something different, accept that. Stop saying, "No, you come from God." I'm Wiccan and I always will be. So shut the fuck up and let me be.
Kat mocked every single one of them, posted screenshots, made jokes, called them gatekeepers. Then she announced she was going to perform the ritual herself, alone, live, in her bathroom, just after midnight. Thousands watched, and nothing happened. At least, that's what everyone thought. The comments exploded. Some people cheered. Others went quiet in a way that said more than words. And a few, the ones who knew, just said, "She doesn't understand what she just did." The stream ended after 20 minutes. Kat smiled at the camera. See? Nothing there. But a few viewers noticed something in the mirror behind her. A second shadow, standing where nobody should have been. Kat was past the point of return. She didn't want the spirit's favor anymore. She wanted their reach. The internet had taught her a version of hoodoo that was distorted, a mirror image of the real thing. She thought she was calling on ancestors. In reality, she was signaling something else. A voodoo ceremony is a locked door. It requires permission, protocol, and a priest to hold the key. Kat didn't have a key. She had a keyboard and a candle. She ignored the warnings in the comments, the ones from the people who knew the difference between folk magic and a calling. She didn't understand that when you pull at a thread in the dark, you aren't just unraveling the cloth. You're inviting whatever is on the other side to pull back. Some say she was trying to reach Papa Legba, the gatekeeper, the one who stands at the crossroads between this world and everything beyond it, the one you're supposed to approach first, the one who opens the door and closes it. Others say she called Baron Samedi, head of the Gede family of spirits, the one who presides over the dead.
You light candles like you order in takeout. You forget I bury the impatient.
He decides who passes. He decides who stays. And the tradition is clear. Boons from the Gede, left unpaid, will be avenged. He doesn't take trespassers lightly. He doesn't take people who stumbled in without knowing whose threshold they crossed. The cemetery is not a place you visit for power. The cemetery is a place you go to remember that you are already on borrowed time. Those are not the same door. You do not walk up to one expecting the other. And if you don't know the difference, you have no business knocking on either one. In authentic voodoo practice, you don't approach a lwa alone. You don't approach one without preparation. Without a hugon or a mambo, a trained priest or priestess, you have no protection. You have no authority. You have no way to close what you open. And the people in those Facebook comments, the ones who warned her, were saying exactly that. They weren't afraid of what she might summon. They were afraid she didn't know the difference between asking and trespassing. Real quick. People throw hoodoo and voodoo around like they're the same word. They are not. The internet confuses the two. It's a dangerous mistake. One is a religion. The other is a survival tool. Both have consequences that don't care if you believe in them or not. A few days after she posted, Kat went quiet. Not silent, quiet. The kind of quiet that felt different from her usual energy. Her post changed. The confidence was still there on the surface, but something underneath it had shifted. Then came the update nobody expected. April 17th, 11:42 in the morning. Kat posted, "I seen Papa Legba today, and I'm scared." 22 comments, seen by 53 people. For those who don't know, there's a reason every voodoo ceremony begins with Papa Legba. Before you can speak to any Loa, any of them, you have to go through him first. Baron Samedi is a different gate entirely. Maya Deren, one of the most serious scholars of voodoo, described him as what Papa Legba is to life, Baron Samedi is to the dead. He controls access to the realm of the dead specifically, not the spirit world in general, the dead. Which means if someone bypassed Papa Legba and tried to reach directly into territory belonging to Baron Samedi, they skipped the front door and climbed through a window in a house they had never been to, in a neighborhood they didn't know, at a time when nobody was expecting them. Every tradition I know of has a word for that. It's not magic, it's not spiritual, it's trespassing. You don't summon Papa Legba. You don't accidentally call him either. When someone who has been working with voodoo-adjacent rituals sees Papa Legba, it means the door is already open. She posted pictures alongside it, the poppet she made, blue cloth, hair woven in, a lighter held to it. Someone in the comments asked if she was okay. Kat replied 2 words. No, sir. Her followers assumed she was playing it up, building suspense, an ARG maybe, just content. But the updates kept coming. That was one of the last things she posted. What followed wasn't just silence, it was a shedding of layers. People pieced together the fragments, the erratic posts, the broken stories, the desperate accounts of those who knew her. She wasn't sleeping, she couldn't. Every time she closed her eyes, the same sound bled through the walls of her apartment. Footsteps, slow, heavy, dragging. And then, the realization that settled into her bones like ice. She wasn't alone. Something was watching. A tall man, dark suit, top hat, always standing where the shadows were deepest. End of parking lots, behind trees, across empty streets. And whenever she turned to look directly at him, he was gone. Day 3. The videos changed. The jokes disappeared. Kat stopped smiling. She whispered instead, like she was afraid something nearby might hear her. She said mirrors weren't reflecting rooms correctly anymore. Sometimes she saw movement behind her, sometimes entire figures. Once, she swore she saw someone standing in her bathtub, just waiting. The comments exploded. Some people begged her to get help. Others demanded more videos. A few claimed they could also see the figure, hiding in the darkness just behind her shoulder. Then came the final upload, the one nobody forgot. 42 seconds. Kat sat on the bathroom floor, camera shaking. The candle beside her kept flickering out. She looked directly into the lens, not at her audience, through them, like she was staring at something standing behind every single viewer watching. The camera tilted toward the bathtub. The water inside looked black. Not dark, black, like an open hole in the world. Kat started crying, and then the room went completely silent. No buzzing lights, no distant traffic, nothing. And then everyone watching heard it. A single sound, a man's laugh, deep, low, close. And when they found her, the only thing the camera saw was the one thing they were all afraid to say. What did Kat actually see in that bathtub? Nobody heard from Kat again. Just a reminder, everything spoke of in this video is alleged. When calls went unanswered, friends went to her apartment. Front door, unlocked. Every light in the apartment, on. Bathroom door, standing open. Inside, they found her. The bathtub was empty, no water, no signs of struggle. Nothing unusual at all, except Kat, and the expression frozen on her face. Pure terror, like she had seen something impossible in the very last moment of her life. Authorities called it a tragedy. The internet called it something else. People replayed the final video for years, enhancing shadows, studying reflections, chasing something through every frame. Some claimed they found a figure standing just behind her. Others said the laugh wasn't recorded audio at all. The strangest rumor came from people who watched the video alone, at night. They said that afterward, they started noticing him. A man in a top hat, standing in the distance, watching, waiting, never moving, until you looked away. And then, somehow, always closer. Maybe it's just a story, an internet legend stitched together from fear and coincidence. Or maybe some doors don't swing open. Maybe they unlock quietly, and once you notice they're open, something notices you too. Maybe Baal Samedi didn't come for her. Maybe Papa Legba opened a door she didn't know how to close. We'll probably never know what Kat saw. We can't verify the screenshots. We can't verify the timeline. We can't verify any of the legend beyond what the public record holds. She was real. She was 19. She died. But all it won't do is let the story eat her. Kat Restin was not a cautionary prop. She was not a Reddit thread. She was not a warning for strangers on the internet. She was 19. She was a mother. She was a bright spirit who inspired the people around her. And she deserved a grief that had somewhere to go. The story ends here, but the mystery? It doesn't. Before you leave, I need to know what you see in the static. Was it a hoax? A cover-up? Or did she invite something in that simply refused to leave? Drop your theory in the comments. I read every single one. If you live for the stories that refuse to be buried, hit subscribe and turn on those notifications. Because not every legend is dead. Not every ghost is gone. And there are some doors that should never, ever be opened. Stay curious, stay vigilant, and for heaven's sake, stay spooky.